trying to stay logical and rational, and it just appears that someone more than likely picked her up with bad intentions.
They came up with nothing there, and I was really glad to see that last episode, or whatever episode it was, when Bogata said there was no chance she went in the woods, because that was what they were hanging their hat on. And the reason for it, it kept coming back and back and back, is the old squaw walk. The old squaw walk is the second half of the statement that I made. You never ever hear the first half. They were talking to me about, well, she must have walked into the woods. It happens, Fred, and nobody understands why, and it's a combination of circumstances, blah, blah, blah. She didn't walk into the woods. She would never do it. That's not the type of personality she has. I'm not even going to look. There was no sense, because she absolutely did not do that. And then they said, well, she could have. She could have. Did she ever discuss it or something? No, she never discussed anything like that. It's a non-factor. And she said, well, if she did, what would she do? I said, she didn't. Where would she go? She did not do that. And I was getting irritated with them. I said, she never talked about suicide. It's never been a topic of conversation. But then, I don't know exactly why I mentioned this. I said, well, we saw a movie once. I think it was called Cheyenne Autumn. And it was tough on the Indians. The winter came, and they filed into the woods. You know, the whole tribe, and the real old squaws, or real old people, when they're at the end of the line, they knew there were going to be a drag on the column. They would just get last, and they just drop off the end and die in the snow in the woods when it was their time, you know. And that was the old squaw walk. I said, but she didn't do that. That did not happen. That's the only time that the term suicide came up. And that was the context of it. So all I've heard ever since is the old squaw walk.
So
you know?
Did they, sorry to interrupt, but did they push you?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yes, they kept after me. Suicide was the thing, because if a bad guy grabbed her, they got some explaining to do. They got a case on their hands, you know. But which is what happened. But if she walked into the woods and committed suicide, what are we going to do about that, Mr. Murray? We can't help that, you know. We'll try to find her for you, but we can't stop people from doing that. And no responsibility. Plus, the background, the setting is there's no crime in New Hampshire, because it's horrible for business, and the whole economy up there is dependent on tourism, on 3 seasons. You know, and you cannot mess that up. And you never hear of major crime in New Hampshire. Maybe since this, but not before that.
On Wednesday. Billy was questioned extensively. They give us a press release.
she's been filling it up with a soda bottle with wine. So the point being that before the car was towed, Smith made reference to the soda bottle filled with wine, which does not correspond to his explanation of it being towed and then found underneath the vehicle.
Right, after it was towed.
And could potentially signify that he did get the car doors open before the car was towed and that evening. And while it may explain how he knew who the driver was, it just begs the question of why he lied about that particular fact like multiple times.
Yeah, why would he want you to think that he didn't get the car doors open?
It could be because you need a warrant. Possibly.
Right. So he's afraid that he'll get in trouble for breach of protocol if he says that he went into the car when it was locked.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's definitely possible. It could be like a pretty, I won't say innocuous lie, but somewhat benign lie, except that if you say that you found that bottle outside the car, you call into question whether or not it was even hers.
Right.
It just seems like a very dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's also possible it's just like it's two people misremembering things. Like he knows, maybe I find this implausible because it didn't seem like they had a lot of contact after, but maybe Monahan remembers Smith telling him about the bottle, like later on.
After he knows about it, you mean?
Yeah, and then he reinterprets that he heard him talk about it that night. I don't know. It definitely is a contradiction. I mean, that's for sure. Their recollections do not match up.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'd all say, well, none of that matters.